We mentioned before that our culture mirrors so many other generations in days gone by. It's intriguing to see the advancements in so many areas of our society, but it is frightening to see the deterioration in so many other areas of our culture. And again, it's something that is mirrored in days gone by in some very specific ways. I want to talk about enticements against responsibility, and it's really suggested by the very beginning of the book of Proverbs. We've talked about Proverbs in several of these chapters in days past. And even parts of this first chapter, we actually started talking about the warning against rejecting wisdom and what wisdom actually involves. I want to go back to the very beginning of Proverbs chapter 1. Here's the reason for Solomon writing it once again. Pertaining wisdom and discipline, for understanding words and insight, for acquiring a disciplined and prudent life, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to the simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning. Let the discerning get guidance, for understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. So it's intriguing, perhaps, that this chapter, after that kind of opening statement that sets its purpose, begins with a warning. The warning actually starts in verse number 8 and goes down through verse number 19. It's a warning against being enticed to do away with your responsibility and just follow the dictates of others who may not have your best interest at heart. Verse number 8. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction. Do not forsake your mother's teaching. Why is that the case? Verse number 10. My son, if sinners entice you, do not give in to them. Individuals that allure you with promises, individuals that flatter you, that want to persuade you to follow their point of view, entice you, don't follow them. If they say, come with us, verse 11, let's lie in wait for someone's blood, let's waylay some harmless soul. It's a plot of injury to others. Now, why would anybody do that? Verse 12, let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit. It's not enough to lie in wait for someone. Now we want to destroy the victim and conceal the evidence. It's exactly what the statement suggests. So in verse 13 and verse 14, there's the reason behind this. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Throw in your lot with us, and we will share a common purse. We will share monetary benefit until we decide that we want more than you. What's the problem? The problem is, don't question what we're asking you to do, and if it hurts people along the way, so be it. It's going to be valuable to you in the end. And the enticement and the flattering and the allurement of this is to suggest that you really don't need to actually analyze why we're doing what we're doing. You don't need to do any kind of research on your own to see if this is really a just way of thinking or acting. Just follow us because we're in control. Throw in your lot with us. We won't bother you. We will not be lying in wait for your blood. We won't be waylaying your soul. We won't be swallowing you alive or swallowing you whole like those who go down to the grave. We'll leave you alone because you're actually you've thrown your lot in with us. The statement that's made in verse number 15 and 16. My son, do not go along with them. Do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into sin, and they are swift to shed blood. There is an insatiable hunger for power. These people are filled with greed and power. We're going to plunder those that are helpless. Come along with us, throw in your lot with us, and we'll give you the benefits of that spoil of what we rob from them. Don't do that. There's an insatiable character about them. They will never, ever have enough. Their feet rush into sin. They're swift to shed blood. And then kind of a difference in thought in verse number Verse number 17, how useless to spread a net in full view of all the birds. It's like, if I'm warning you of this, you need to react just like birds that actually have a net to entrap them spread out in front of them, open, without any kind of camouflage at all. You need to run from these people as quickly as you possibly can. Verse 18 and verse 19, ultimately these people are going to turn on themselves. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They waylay only themselves. Such is the end of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the lives of those who get it. Those verses from the very first part of Proverbs chapter 1 describe to a T the rush for power and the insatiable greed of individuals that are in positions of authority in our culture. Don't fall in with them. It's always a good idea to do your own research, to investigate every detail available to you about questions of the day or positions that have been put in place. To not do that is to absolve ourselves of responsibility. And then when problems actually turn around and we are caught up in those kind of misconceptions, we have no one to blame but ourselves. Book of Proverbs, chapter 1, has some intriguing and insightful and actually alarming things to say that relate to our culture in this 21st century. Please stay safe. We'll talk again soon.